After soaking up the Super Bowl win and the MVP season, it was time to get down to the money. But first, I had another upgrade after the Super Bowl that took me to a 90 overall. Anyways, so will the Cowboys and Jerry Jones pay me what I'm worth? The answer is no, they won't. Not only did they not franchise tag me, they didn't even send me an offer as a free agent. The Cowboys got rid of their Super Bowl winning MVP quarterback, and so I had to look elsewhere, and the team that immediately made sense was the Seahawks for a 5-year, $200 million contract. I'm going home, and I always wanted to play for the Huskies, but if you've been following my career, you know how that ended up turning out. We're quickly skimming through the retirements. There were a lot of big retirements, so if you want to see all of them, you can stop the video and take a look. But here is what the Seahawks squad looks like that I have joined. We have Joe Baldwin, who was just recently drafted as a very high overall, JSN and DK Metcalf, and Henry Sherwood, who's also a really good wide receiver. We've got two great tight ends in Trevor Knott and Noah Fant. The offensive line is looking pretty solid. The defense is looking really good. We have a D tackle, J.J. Malone, who's an 85 overall, along with Derek Hall, who has really developed into a solid outside linebacker, mostly as a pass rusher. But the team overall is really well balanced with two great corners still on the roster in Tariq Woolen and Devin Witherspoon, and a great strong safety as well. So all around, a very balanced team. And our first pick in the draft was a corner. Next pick was Shaq Norwood, a right end. And our corner pick was a 77 overall, a very good player. Right end was also a 75, so also a very good player. They didn't exactly go out drafting a bunch of great offensive players, but on the Cowboys, they actually drafted my replacement with the 32nd pick. They drafted Ryan Alford. So that's a new rival for us. I wasn't expecting to get additional players later on, but now we have to look at the Cowboys as a rival because they just dropped me like I was nothing after winning the Super Bowl and Super Bowl MVP and regular season MVP. They were like, yeah, we're moving on from him, no problem. A cool bonus for going to the Seahawks is now playing Fafita and the Rams twice a year in the division. When we last played the Rams in the regular season last year, we stomped them by 38. And would we be able to live up to the hype this time around? After failing to get a first down pickup on a third and short run, we ended up punting, and we were down 10-0 at the beginning of the third quarter when I hit JSN for a corner route touchdown pass to make it a game again, but the Rams did answer and make it 17-7. Later in the fourth quarter, I got sacked, forcing a field goal. The Rams answered again with another touchdown, and they just continued to maintain that lead. And ultimately, we got stopped on a fourth down trying to get into the end zone one more time to make it a game. I finished with a touchdown and 0 picks, but I have to admit, Noah Fafita did outplay me in this game with 3 touchdowns and 0 picks of his own. And Kenneth Walker really struggled in this game and also came out of the game with an injury. I struggled to get the ball to some of my top receiving threats, but that's something that's going to come with experience and playing for this team for a longer period of time. And then moving forward into week 5, we got an opportunity to play against the Cowboys. And this would be a chance for a little bit of a revenge against a team that, again, basically cut us and drafted a quarterback with a 32nd overall pick after winning the Super Bowl, which is just absolutely unheard of. But I ended up throwing an interception in the first quarter, and the Cowboys capitalized off of it, taking a 14-0 lead, and then almost threw a second pick, trying to throw that deep crossing route. But I quickly realized I was going to need to go back to the drawing board because this Cowboys team definitely knew my tendencies, and so I had to switch some things up a little bit. But really, in the first quarter, it was just trying to survive out there. They were getting sacks, they were getting pressure like crazy, and I'll admit, I just wasn't seeing the field well. They were getting through so quickly. Micah Parsons was all over me, and I stopped looking down the field and just started looking at the rush coming after me, and the points piled up pretty quick. We could not get points on the board. Eventually, I did find Henry Sherwood in the corner with a perfect ball, but, I mean, the momentum was just completely sucked away from us, even though we were playing at home. And I finished with 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, and Ryan Alford, the rookie quarterback, outplayed me, and that really stung. And Marshawn Ford had a great game, 9 catches for 90 yards and a touchdown. And so it sucked to not have Marshawn Ford on my team. But we were sort of given an opportunity to right some of our wrongs from the season. We did end up having a good enough team to make the playoffs, but Joe Baldwin got injured almost immediately going into our wild card matchup against the Rams. And so we were without potentially our best wide receiver on the team, but Kenneth Walker was getting it going early on the ground, running the ball really well with a 20-yard carry for his first carry, trying to use Trevor Knott over the middle, and really just utilizing this whole offense. And it's a lot of young players on this team, aside from DK Metcalf, who's sort of reaching the twilight of his career as like an 85 overall. I did have one nice run, getting outside the pocket, getting into the end zone for a touchdown. We had a 10-0 lead with 5 minutes left in the second quarter until Kenneth Walker got injured, and our backup running back was a rookie named Kendrick Harbour, number 22, and so we had to rely on me in the running game a whole lot more. Not really designed run plays, but just scrambling outside of the pocket and making things happen. And so got a big 20-yard pickup earlier in the drive, and then finished the drive off with another 20-yard run into the end zone for a touchdown, taking an early 17-0 lead. And this is more like what it should be like playing against Nova Fida. This is very reminiscent of last year when we had a 48-10 win in the regular season with the Cowboys over the Rams. Eventually, the Rams did respond in the third quarter with a touchdown, but we still had a 10-point lead, and we were just driving down the field. We got another pass off to Kendrick Harbour over the middle to convert a third down, and then later in the drive, trying to throw a corner out to Trevor Knott. Instead, he gets intercepted by the safety. That was a big turning point in this game. With a 17-7 lead, we could have a chance to take either a 13-point lead or potentially a 3-score lead. And instead, the Rams come back, score a touchdown of their own, and now we're only up by 3 points. But I did a good job of just managing the game, running a lot of play action, moving outside the pocket, stepping up in the pocket here, outrunning the defensive end, and diving into the end zone for another touchdown. That essentially did seal the game. I had a really awful game passing the ball with 0 touchdowns and 2 picks and a low passer rating, but really what was my saving grace was 6 carries for about 120 yards and 3 touchdowns on those 6 carries. And then it was just fate that we'd be playing against the Cowboys in the Divisional, and this was, of course, going to be an intense game. Luckily, Kenneth Walker was healthy again and ready to go for this game, and then I hit my backup tight end on a delayed tight end screen, and he just went crazy here, breaking the initial tackle and then beating everybody to the end zone for a touchdown. The Cowboys responded with a field goal to take the lead again, but with 3 minutes left, 3rd and 17, I scrambled for a first down pickup, trying to keep this drive alive, but I got a little too used to playing hero ball and just kind of threw the ball a little bit late to my crossing route, and instead it gets intercepted by Trayvon Diggs. We get the tackle eventually on him, but they're already in position to score a touchdown, and they do, making it 17-7. And then we get the ball back on 3rd and 5, and we thought we would convert that play, but the tight end dropped the ball, and so we punted the ball again, and Dallas answered once again, taking a 24-7 lead. It was starting to look ugly here. There was a minute and a half left in the third quarter, and I knew that we were going to have to get something on the board quickly if we wanted to get back into this game. There's no do-overs here in the Divisional, but I got sacked on 3rd down, making it 4th and 15. We settled for a field goal, and then Dallas scores again, making it 31-10. And our hopes of making the NFC Championship game are slowly falling apart. I find some space, try to dive into the end zone, try to dunk the ball over a defender, but go down at the 1-yard line. But on 1st and goal, eventually I do find a DK for the touchdown. But really, it's not really a game. We end up losing, and I can't lie to you, this one stings. Losing to the Cowboys, losing to a rookie quarterback in Ryan Alford, who has taken my spot, and he had 1 touchdown and 0 picks. I had 2 touchdowns and 1 pick. He did outplay me technically in this game. Bijan had a great game as well. Kenneth Walker, 6 carries for 24 yards. Didn't really have a chance to run the ball all that much. We were just down almost the entire game. We needed to continue passing the ball, and it was looking really scary. The Cowboys winning the Super Bowl without me would really hurt my ego. Micah Parsons won Defensive Player of the Year. Ryan Alford ended up winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. But the Cowboys made the Super Bowl and ultimately lost to Josh Allen, which makes me feel a little bit better at least. But we got to be better going into year 6 with the Seahawks.